Welcome to this week's edition of the W-IKE News. I'm Chris Bunk here with
Kyler Black,
and we'll bring you all your afternoon announcements. Stay updated on all the latest school news by reading our online newspaper, The Squire, at www.squirenews.com. The midwinter issue was recently published. It can be accessed by scanning the QR code on the bulletin board by Mrs. Ludwig's room. Also, follow The Squire on social media at EHS Squire on Instagram.
Attention all students, tutoring is available after school on Mondays and Wednesdays in Mrs. Ludwig's room, G119, from 3:20 to 4:20.
This week, an honor roll breakfast was held to recognize all middle and high school students who achieved merit and honor roll for the second 9 weeks. Students received funnel cakes with whipped cream and chocolate chips to celebrate. Congratulations to all the students who made honor roll. Stay tuned for details about the third 9 weeks honor roll celebration.
Last week was Kindness Week at Eisenhower. Students participated in Spirit Week and engaged in acts of kindness throughout the week. Special thanks to Student Council and Mrs. Lobdell for making the week so special for students and staff.
This just in. News from the music department. Congratulations to Anna Alcorn and Jesse Hansberger as they earned second chair trumpet and second chair flute, respectively, at district band. Both qualified to move on to region band.
Also, congratulations to Alyssa Wismar in advancing to regional choir, where she competed over the weekend.
News from the guidance office. See the guidance office for scholarship opportunities. Students should be working on their CCR during advisory. See guidance or your advisory teachers with any questions. Are you getting your CCR done?
You know it. Are you getting your done?
Of course.
Athletic news. Winter sports are now in postseason. Playoffs are happening this week. We will update you next week with results. Best of luck to our student athletes.
Those teams will consist of the boys basketball team, girls basketball team, and a handful of wrestlers. Winter weight room is open Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3:20 to 5 p.m. after school. If you have any questions, please see Mr. Penley.
Now on to the winter baking segment with Adeline and Drew.
Hi, it's Drew and Evelyn from W-IKE News, and today we're making kitchen sink cookies. All you'll need for this is really easy. You make a base for chocolate chip cookies, and then you add your favorite kind of candy. We added Reese's Pieces, M&Ms, and pieces of Twix.
First, you're going to preheat your oven to 375 degrees, and then grab a cookie scooper and place your cookies 2 inches apart from each other on your baking tray. Then once your oven's preheated enough, you're going to stick it in the oven and let it cook till they're golden brown.
Okay, so now that they're done, we're going to take them out of the oven, and you're going to put them on your stovetop to cool for about 10 minutes.
And that's how you make kitchen sink cookies. Now back to the anchors.
WIKE News has partnered with Notice News to include relevant and reliable national and international news in our broadcast. Here's the latest from Notice News.
Would you pay to be verified on IG? Mark Zuckerberg thinks you will. Jonathan from Notice News has more.
Celebrities and public figures have little blue check marks next to their usernames on social media, but would you pay to have one yourself? Meta, the company that owns Facebook and Instagram, announced they're launching Meta Verified, a subscription service that gives any user that can provide a government ID a blue check mark. The catch? It costs $11.99 a month on the web or $14.99 a month on an Android or iPhone. In addition to the checkmark, the subscription includes extra protections against impersonation and access to direct customer service from Meta. Because the service aims to prevent impersonation, those who subscribe will have to go by their legal names on their profile. Meta Verified will be rolled out to Australia and New Zealand this week and will be gradually rolled out to other countries. This comes shortly after Twitter introduced a similar subscription service called Twitter Blue that costs $11 a month. Meta's CEO Mark Zuckerberg says his company is planning to, quote, empower creators to be more productive and creative. But his company has been under pressure from Wall Street to keep making a ton of money as revenue from advertising on their platforms has cooled down.
Having a job in the future may look a lot different than it does today. Jonathan from Notice explains.
A full-time job is typically Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, but will that soon be history? This week, the world's largest trial of a 4-day workweek finished in the United Kingdom. In it, 3,000 employees across 61 companies worked 4 days a week instead of 5 with no change in their pay. The results of the trial are pretty impressive. Employees across the board seemed much happier, reporting reduced stress, better sleep, better work-life balance, and improved mental health, and some companies actually made more money. In fact, 15% of those employees said, quote, no amount of money could make them go back to working 5 days a week. The 5-day work week is a relatively new phenomenon instituted in the 1920s, famously by Henry Ford. For most of the 1800s, many people worked 6 or even 7 days a week, usually with only time off to go to church. Researchers and organizers of the trial hope that someday soon the 4-day work week will be the standard.
Is the Supreme Court about to upend the way the entire internet works? Angie has more.
This is Noemi Gonzalez, a 23-year-old American who was studying abroad in France. In 2015, she was shot to death in an ISIS terrorist attack. In response, her family, wanting accountability, sued someone you might not have thought, Google. They claimed YouTube is at least partly responsible because its website promoted the extremist ideas that killed their daughter by recommending ISIS videos.
I think they should be careful in what they showed in the media to stop all this ISIS terrorism that's really hurting a lot of innocent people. So they should do something about it.
Their case has worked its way through the courts and yesterday went before the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land. At issue is the law known as Section 230, which protects internet companies from being sued over content posted by its users, meaning they can't be sued for the content you post. But should they be held responsible for recommending content? Justice Clarence Thomas was skeptical because the algorithm's recommendations do the same thing for everyone.
I'm trying to get you to explain to us how something that is standard on YouTube for virtually anything that you have an interest in suddenly amounts to aiding and abetting because you're in the ISIS category.
Computers at YouTube send you stuff you didn't ask them for, they just send you stuff. It's no different than if they were sending you emails. That's affirmative conduct.
Opponents say overturning the law would break the internet.
Would Google collapse and the internet be destroyed if YouTube and therefore Google were potentially liable for posting and refusing to take down videos that it knows are defamatory and false?
Well, I don't think Google would. I think probably every other website might be because they're not as big as Google.
Others say the law prevents platforms from being held accountable for real-world harm. But as Justice Elena Kagan said,
you know, these are not like the 9 greatest experts on the internet.
Yesterday, the Supreme Court heard a similar case about content published to Twitter, but we won't know what the court decides until June.
That's all we have for your announcements. Have a great day and stay classy, Eisenhower. I threw my phone during that.